Drake, rapper, actor, entertainer, fodder, pedophile. This video is not about anything that's been happening with Drake recently, as that's already been talked about like a lot. In this video we'll be discussing his albums. I listened to all 14 of his albums and it was awful. Like seriously, it was awful. Let's talk about it. As you can see, we're gonna be ranking it. Yeah, alright, let's go. First up, half of its discography. I'm not kidding. Let's start from the worst to the least worst. Does that make sense? Scorpion is the worst one because it's the longest one. When listening to all Drake's albums, one of the things I really hate is that some of them were really long. More Life is an hour and 21, as well as Views. For All the Dogs is an hour 24. CLB is an hour 26. So Far Gone I think is an hour 13. Take Care is an hour 23. This album is an hour and 30 minutes. 90 minutes of Drake. But the length of Scorpion is not the reason why it's my least favorite. It's the fact that almost all of the tracks are the same. 24 of the tracks are either okay, bad, or boring. Survival is a good intro to the album, but when you consider all the other intros to all the other albums, it ain't really special. Nonstop was fun with the whole flip videos, you know, back in early TikTok, but now it's just a track that exists. Nice for What's Overrated. In My Feelings is a good track in the beginning, and then the middle comes in with the whole DJ remix, and you just start to want to die. And Rachel's Happy Birthday is overhated, okay? I know a lot of people like to hate on this track and consider it to be the worst, but honestly, I think it's one of his funnest. That's not to say it's a good track, alright? The only good track on this album is God's Plan. Whether you like the album or not, whether you don't like Drake or not, God's Plan will forever be a classic. March 14th is the only track that comes close to God's Plan because it's the final track. Overall, Scorpion is just an hour and 26 minutes of boringness. Next up, More Life. I don't really have anything to say about it, to be honest. Passion Fruit I really don't like, and it's not because the song sucks, but it's because of the fact that it's 5 minutes. See, back in like 2017, 2018-ish, this track would be playing on the radios, and I always seemed to enjoy it. And I always thought it was like a 2-3 minute track, but turns out it's 5 minutes. I really don't like that, especially when you consider that it's only 5 minutes because of the first minute and the last minute of the track. You remove those parts, nothing changes. Besides, the track is now shorter and way much better. Anyways, yeah, that's what I hate about Passion Fruit, is that it's 5 minutes. Track's okay. KMT is boring, but I also think it's really overhated. Look, I'm not a big fan of Drake's rapping, but I think he doesn't really deserve all the hate for stealing other people's flows. I can see when other rappers do it, people view it as giving homage, but when Drake does it, people view it as him stealing. So yeah, I don't think Drake really deserves all the hate he gets on KMT. And the rest are, I don't remember. They're boring. The only good track on More Life is Two Birds, One Stone, and that's not even on the album. Okay, look, it seems like I'm not really taking this video seriously, but like, the thing is that all these albums, the thing is all these albums are the same to me. All these albums are either boring, bad, or lackluster. Or in short, BBL. Let's just speed run through all of these. Darkling Demos. Tuesday Slide is ass. Chicago Freestyle's mid. Pain actually was okay, alright? Drake did a good job with his rapping. Playboy Cardi didn't. And Drake should never do a UK drill album. For All the Dogs, there's 2 songs that I like and 2 other songs I like on the Scary Hours edition. Yeah, honestly, never mind. We're gonna come back to last, as I have a lot to say about the album. So Far Gone, there's 1 track I like, and Drake did a pretty decent job on the Say You Will Be. Thank Me Later, Fireworks is nice, and the next 13 tracks I don't really care about. Views, I like Hype, Too Good is a vibe, Online Bling is a classic, and there's no denying that, and it's my favorite track off the album. And before you say something like Feel No Ways is actually the best track on this album, no, it's not. Controller, I'm really sad that I don't like, because I used to love it as a kid, but now it's so dead. One Dance is overrated, but also overhated. And I think I know why. The reason why is Clyla. Clyla ruins this song. Drake does pretty okay with the verses and chorus, but then Clyla comes in and then she just ruins all of that. This whole song is about Drake just trying to get one more dance with this girl before she leaves. It's vibing and all, and then Clyla comes in with this weird sax energy that just makes everyone run away from her. She just ruins the whole vibe. She is the reason why this song's overrated and overhated. Well, maybe not overrated, but definitely overhated. Her Loss. P&M is good. Yeah. Okay, look, I'm just gonna explain my big issue with this album. My big issue with the album is 21 Savage. Now, I'm not a big fan of 21 Savage. I listened to I Am and I Was and his recent album, and I wasn't really a big fan of them. American Dream, I didn't hate, but neither did I love. I like Dark Days. That's about it. I like the first 2 tracks off of I Am, and I guess Monster was okay, even though Childish Gambino and 21 Savage do not mix together at all. And the other tracks I don't really remember. My biggest problem with 21 Savage is that his music doesn't really change. And that's my big problem with the album as a whole. His part of this album is not bad, but it's not really anything special either. He's just there because Drake wanted to make an album with him. Certified Pedo, I like Champagne Poetry. Probably's Home's okay. Girls Want Girls is boring, as well as In the Bible. Love All's okay. I like the Jay-Z verse. Fair Trade is dope. Way Too Sexy's ass. Finally, Honestly Nevermind. It's overhated, but it's understandable. There's 3 problems I have with the album. 1, these tracks suck. 2, the album is way too long than it should be. These 4 tracks on the screen just feel so unnecessarily long. If they were cut like to 2-3 minutes, it would be so much better. That's why I like a keeper. It's a nice 3-minute song. Instruments good, the verses are nice, the vocals are great, and overall the energy is there. It's a perfect track for the album, and I overall think it's the best one. I feel like this album was cut down to 8 tracks and they were either 2 or 3 minutes, it would be so much better. But then again, it wouldn't get good receptions, which comes to what I think is the biggest problem with this album. The big problem with the album is that it's way too late for Drake to experiment. It's way too late for Drake to experiment with music because no one would ever want that. The thing with Drake to me is that he's always been riding the waves. He's always been riding on what's hot and what's popular and always using that to his advantage in order for him to stay relevant. You know, like hanging with up and coming rappers and making music off genres that are hot at the moment. So when Drake stops riding the waves and instead, you know, goes in the sand and makes a sandcastle. I don't know where we're going with this, but I don't know. Let's get to the point. The point I'm making is that Drake cannot experiment with music because it will never receive good reviews from the public because they don't expect him to be different or doing something new. They expect him to be riding on the waves and what's hot right now, i.e. Honestly Nevermind. That's why Jimmy Cooks is people's favorite track off the album and the most popular, because it intertwines with Drake's music and its overall feels relevant. So yeah, I think Honestly Nevermind is overhated, but it's understandable why someone would hate the album. That's not to say the album is good, because shit, it's a snore fest to go through, but I do appreciate Drake trying to test new things with music. It's just he probably should have done that with Views or More Life. So yeah, I think all 10 of these albums are the same. Alright, yeah, let's move on. Care Package. I like Draft Day, 4 a.m., 5 a.m., the J. Cole song, and the rest I don't actually remember. Yeah, this album is no different compared to the 10 albums we talked about, so I guess yeah. What a Time to Be Alive. The first 2 tracks are fire. The 6 tracks, however, they're so dead. Jumpman's a classic, and 30 for 30 Freestyle's underrated. As much as I want to put this album with the rest of the 10, those 4 tracks I really love, so it's going in C. Alright, we made it to what people consider Drake's best albums. These 3 excluded. I don't know what the fuck these albums are. Comeback Season, Room for Improvement. Alright, I'm just gonna assume that this album's okay, this is sucks, and this has to be ass. Alright, let's get to the 3. Alright, first off, Take Care. I like Over My Dead Body, Lord Knows, the Motto with Wayne, the other track with Wayne, not the one with Andre. I didn't like that one. But besides those tracks, I didn't really like the album that much. You know, before listening to this, I thought this album would be great. Like, people consider this to be Drake's best album. Like, this album has to be at least good. But after listening to it all, it's not bad, but it's not good either. It's like a C-. Alright, next 2, you know, I'm just gonna rush these because I really want to discuss about my big problem with Drake. If you're reading this, it's too late. It's a good album. There's tracks I like, Jungle's overrated, and it's overall just, it's just good. Like, there's a reason why Fantano considered this to be his best album. Because it's good. It's a B. Nothing Was the Same is my favorite. And the reason why it's my favorite is because it's literally the perfect Drake album to me. Under an hour, there's good tracks, and there's replayability for me. And it's overall a good listen. B. Yeah. Alright, now that that's out the way, I want to discuss my big problem with Drake. After listening to all of his albums, I realized Drake makes a lot of boring ass music. Now, before listening to all of Drake's albums, I really expected him to be good. I didn't expect him to be on the same level as Isaiah Rashad or Conway the Machine, but like, I at least expected him to be at least good. I expect it to be a reason why Drake's in the top 3. After suffering through Drake's discography, I can confirmly say that Drake's okay. Like, he's like a C, 74% okay. My problem with Drake is that there's not that much effort put into his music. And I think that's why I find almost all of his songs to be either boring, bland, or like lack of energy. Like, take More Like, for example. Mad About Rhythm feels like it could have been a really great summer track if he added a bit of flow and rhythm to it, but he doesn't. Instead, he sings the chorus, then says 4 bars in the pre-chorus and the chorus, and repeats that. And it comes off as bland and a bit disappointing, and that comes off for many of the tracks, not on just the album, but in Drake's discography. And that's not just a problem. There's also more problems, such as tracks being unnecessarily long, Drake's rapping, some of the features sometimes being repetitive, and really dumb lyrics. However, it has been proven at times that Drake can be a good rapper. It's just that he doesn't really show that often. I think Drake is just taking the Jack Harlow route. Now, I don't listen to Jack Harlow. I only know like 5 of his songs and like a few of his lyrics. But besides that, I don't listen to Jack Harlow. He has stated in a tweet of his that while he can be a great rapper and lyricist, he'll much rather prefer being a commercially successful rapper and instead make hit songs. And that's what I think Drake has been going after since Views. Drake isn't really aiming for being the best lyricist like J. Cole. He's mainly trying to be the most successful commercial rapper. And I think that really shows in 2018 with Scorpion being his most commercial successful album and having 4 #1 tracks. I think that really shows that Drake was going after hits and commercial success. Take like Dark Lane Downs with Tootsie Slide, CLB with Way Too Sexy, Honestly Never Mind with Jimmy Cooks, Her Loss with whatever #1 track it was, and For All the Dogs with its #1 track. I don't remember what it was. While he may not be a great rapper, nor should he be in the top 3 and should be replaced by like Freddie Gibbs or I don't know, any of these artists on the screen, he is the most successful one. And I feel like that's what he was aiming for his entire career. And yeah, to sum this video up, if you want to listen to Drake's discography, just listen to these 2 albums. Bye. Love you. Yeah.